And yeah, and the updates that we give on current events are not opinions. This is facts, and this is the exact way you should think, right? So everything we say is correct. So don't even give us any comments. Oh, no. Everything we. Oh, speaking of just hilarious shit that I saw this week, we definitely have a shit ton to talk about. But did you see the CNN interview with Tim Dillon? Bomba clot. I threw up a comment on there. It's already got like 1,000 likes. No big deal. I torched the honey. I said I can actually probably pull it up, but I basically said something to the effect of this is exactly why legacy media is dying. This and I called her what did I call her? This girl. I think I said girl. This girl, a little bit demeaning, right? This girl isn't listening to a single word he's saying, not listening at all, and just waiting to respond with her next loaded question, her next question with an angle. The whole time she's asking questions, she's like, yeah, but like, aren't you guys, like a club, or aren't you guys, all right wing, or isn't there no left wing people? Are they, like trying to make it sound like it's some kind of conspiracy or evil thing that they're doing to have all this control? And Tim Dillon's sitting there laughing at her, saying, "What are you talking about? What do you think kind of control? Like, what do you think we're doing?" Yeah, she kept asking Tim Dillon as if Joe Rogan was, his father. And then at one point, Tim Dillon said that. She's like, "So what's your relationship like with Joe?" He goes, "He's my father." He's because yeah, it was just such an odd. It's just weird. You see these people interview others, and this is why podcasts are so much more interesting, especially the Joe Rogan experience, than these news interviews. Because on a podcast, it's people who are genuinely interested in the conversation and what this person is saying. So it's a real conversation. It's real. These interviewer people, they're all fake. They ask fake questions, loaded questions, have an angle, trying to catch them doing something. It's like, what? This is why it's not good. It's like, it's not real. Yeah. Yeah, the one about Bidino. Yeah. Yeah, it's just Those clips are the best. Yeah, the Laura Trump one was the first one that came to mind. Then you have the other clip of the old secretary, the what is she? Black, lesbian, uh, gender fluid, they, them, they, them pronoun. Yeah, Karen. Yeah, yeah. Right. The mystery gender. I don't know what the fuck. Right. But the ultimate DEI hire of all time. And so she goes on that Jake Tapper show, and I think it was him, right? Jake Tapper asked her, and how's Joe Biden's cognitive function? Da, da, da. She's like, oh, what? How could you say such a thing? He's the spring chicken. He gets to every meeting. It's tough for me to even keep up with him, etc. The disrespect. That's why I laugh. This is why I think it's funny that people even watch even Fox News, bro. I'm the same way with Fox News, just being honest. I think Fox is it's not as bad as CNN. CNN's fucking crazy. But both of them are like this. They definitely have a point of view that they're trying to push. But to me, it's hilarious because the disrespect to me. Now, obviously, they're not targeting me. They're talking about targeting morons. But the
Yeah.
disrespect to insult my intelligence to that level, that you're going to go on national television and say that this guy, it's difficult to keep up with him cognitively. And unfortunately, yeah, it's terrible. It's very sad to hear that he has cancer. But these people knew that he was sick and dying, and he didn't have a mind that was working properly. How sick is it to keep this man in the office and act like he's completely fine?
Yeah.
It's just as if your grandfather had dementia. He's not thinking properly. He's not doing this. And then you're forcing him to go to work every single day to go make money and do saying, no, leave him alone. Let him enjoy his life. Get him out of the job. Get him retired. But no, they wanted to trot him in there for 4 years and be able to use the auto pen and make all these decisions behind his back and have the country ran by the bureaucrats. It's disgusting what they did. And it's disgusting the lies that they put out into the media about his actual situation. And then now Jake Tapper wants to make money off of it on a book. Mamba Club. What?
It's the
What?
biggest fraud of all time, and I completely agree. It's so sad that he gets diagnosed with that. My belief is that they knew about it earlier. Obviously, that's
Yeah.
why he ended up dropping out of the race for 2024 election. Obviously, they knew something was wrong behind closed doors. And the second biggest scandal behind. I mean, this actually it could go one or two depending on who you ask. But the auto pen. So it was staffers, White House chief of staff, whoever was in there, Biden's, who knows where he is, what he's doing. Meanwhile, they're signing all this legislation, to executive orders, all these other things with an auto pen on the computer, just clicking it, bang, 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 signing things that people are writing up, and then there's no authority to read through them or have the president actually sign off on this. So that's gonna be coming up in the news very soon. You're gonna find out who was using the auto pen. I'm very sure Trump's gonna want to know who was doing that. So it's unbelievable, and that's why going back to the Tim Dillon interview, I believe it's so funny how the new media is so construed in their bias points, and you're right. Both way it goes both ways. I think Fox News is a little better at it than CNN, but podcasting is the way. When you could sit down and you could listen to somebody have a conversation for 2 hours, 3 hours, and they could actually explain their points without being interrupted by an interviewer on CNN who's trying to get an agenda across. You actually understand who people are. So that's why you see the rise to fame of people like Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon. They come about because, yeah, they're comedians and they're talking points, having fun, but they also can have real conversations. And sometimes people relate more to that humor and just having a normal conversation. You spit humor back and forth too. It's not so serious like on an interview for the news that is going to be up.
Right. And the reason it's way more effective for these politicians to start doing these long format podcasts, and the reason you saw a lot of success with it for Trump was it also humanizes the individual. When you go on CNN and Fox News and do these 5 minute clips, these 2 minute clips, you ask a question, you have to give a quick answer that's just already obviously pre-planned, thought out, etc. It doesn't come across as genuine or personable. It might be the right answer, they might have delivered it well, but it doesn't humanize the person. When you go on Joe Rogan, you get to see how Trump actually is in a 3 hour conversation. That's huge. And it's under the impression that it's not a hostile environment. So then the conversation can be free flowing. With Tim Dillon, I mean, he wasn't reacting as if they were being super hostile to him. Like, he wasn't getting all frustrated and pissed off.
Yeah.
But you could tell he's trying to answer these questions. Like, what are these questions you're asking me? What is this? Doesn't even make sense. And then he started saying about how she's saying, well, because she was trying to paint the picture that there's no such thing as left wing comedy anymore. Left wing comedians aren't successful. They don't have influence. It's all these right wing people, these right wing podcasters. They have all this power, this institutional power, etc. And Tim Dillon literally says, that's crazy to even think that. What are you talking about? Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel. Is it Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
Jon Stewart, the other guy, Bill Maher.
Yeah.
What's her name? The chick, Amy Schumer, Silver, whatever the hell her name is, whatever, the girls, Bill Burr, all Louis C.K., another famous one. Huge, huge platforms, wildly successful left wing comedians. What are you talking about? There's no left wing comedians or everything's right leaning. And she's trying to say, oh, well, they didn't have as much influence or they didn't have as much money or ratings, etc. That's not about whether they're left or right of center. It's just about, well, if their shows aren't doing well, it's because their shows suck, right? Dude, Jimmy Kimmel is the biggest pussy
Oh, I hate
I've
that
ever
dude.
seen in the
I
world.
hate that dude.
That guy is the ultimate cuck. Ultimate. I
He just never has anything good to say about anything. It's always bad and it's terrible. His show's terrible.
The only clips I ever see of him are him fucking crying on the show. I'm so. It's like fucking Selena Gomez, dude. This is a grown ass man on live television crying fucking 3 times a week. About what, dude? About what? You're crying? Isn't he supposed to be a white cis male? Doesn't he have all the privilege in the world? What, like,
Yeah, and he goes home to his house in Beverly Hills when he's done with the show and cries it up.
yeah, like what are you crying about, bruv? And I see he's the biggest pussy ever. That guy's pussy. I see those clips about the shit he's crying about. I'm thinking this guy's fucking pussy. Anyways, he's got a big platform though. Is it not doing well, the show? Yeah, I'm sure not, because it probably sucks.
Wait, is
Right?
on NBC? Is his show on NBC? Oh no, that's Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon's on NBC. I think he's on ABC. So it goes to show, it fits right in with the demographic of who they're trying to reach to put a big pussy up on stage, and
Yeah, yeah.
that's who's gonna watch.
So he can cuck himself and be shamed into oblivion. I mean, yeah, just that's the one guy where I see him and I go, wow, this guy's fucking soft. He's soft. I don't know what it is about him, but you get it. And any normal man that just walks through life the way that he should, shoulders held up high, works hard, tries to provide for his family, understands the realities of being a man. Real men will look at a guy like him and be off put by it because you see the fakeness, the sliminess there. He's like, you can tell he's a slimy dude. It's just like
Actually, no, you know what I just thought about? Do you remember? It was Daniel Tosh from Tosh Point oh.
yeah,
He
yeah.
actually just came out. He has a podcast. He came out. He doesn't like Trump either. So there's another one.
Daniel
Big.
Tosh is definitely left
He's like
wing for
retired
sure.
now. He doesn't even do comedy anymore. But yeah, he's another one that falls under that bucket. But I think if you go to a comedy club in New York City, LA, 80% of those comedians will be left wing. That's just what they do. That's the demographic. They're in that city. So yeah, I mean, you found a small niche of actors that or not actors, comedians that move to Austin, Texas. Maybe because they're in Austin, Texas, everyone just wants to think they're these, right wing Republican conservatives, but it's really not true. Even Joe Rogan himself, back in the day, he was left wing until the left wing went too far left, and now everyone's center right.
That's a great point. Yeah, another great point. Exactly. It's not even that people are now right wing. No, it's just all the left wing people just naturally became right wing because of how far they fucking ran off to the side. Rogan, all these guys are all left wing. And then now they look at Rogan as this conservative, right wing, far right voice of the. Rogan is for gay marriage. He says there's nothing wrong with that. He's for legalization of marijuana and drugs. He's very open minded, very progressive. The dude's traditionally super liberal, super liberal. But when you get to the point that the left is now, well, if your kid's 8 years old and they decide that a boy decides that he's a girl, we're going to go ahead and fucking chemically castrate him. Yeah, a lot of people are going to say, you know what? That's actually fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Why would that make sense? That same 8 year old, we wouldn't give him a beer. We wouldn't give him a cigarette. We wouldn't let him get tattoos. We wouldn't send him off to war. He's still living with his parents because his parents have to provide and take care of this child. So, what in your right mind makes you think, you know what? I think we should let this 8 year old change genders. That's a
Yeah.
great idea. There's no way he'll regret it in 10 years when he's 18 or 20 years old and can't have children and can't have a normal life and can't enjoy the absolute best parts of life, which is having a family. Yeah, he probably won't regret it. You're retarded. Like you're just out of your mind. So that's why these people who are all left wing are saying, well, say I'm still liberal. I'm
Yeah.
just not out of my mind.
Yeah, I think it's more of a symbolism thing of a strong male who has a lot of money like Joe Rogan and can project his, his lifestyle. He likes fishing, he likes hunting, he likes shooting guns. Like that's their worst nightmare. So if you lose the guy that was like that on the left side, you lose him from your team, you're going to be salty about it, and then you're going to have a vendetta against all the other people that are like that. So people who shoot guns, who people who, do those types of things, eat meat, even like the vegans, I'm sure are on that side almost. So it's just like, yeah, you're never gonna win that battle against the left because, they lost the team. So Joe Rogan, I think, is actually more right wing than he says. I think if you hung out with Joe Rogan for a couple days, I think he's actually more right wing than he leads on. But I mean, he's an open book. He does a podcast 3 times a week for 3 hours, so he's talked about everything under the sun. So maybe he has to be more open minded to things because he's talked to people that do all different types of things. So yeah, again, going back to the main point with the legacy media, Jake Tapper, and I don't even know that chick's name that interviewed Tim Dillon. It's a dying breed, and something that we do. Obviously we come on here, we do our podcast, and we talk, and we do social media and videos and stuff. It's never been easier to come on and voice your opinion and get people to listen to you. If you started up an Instagram account now and just posted yourself talking all day every day, people are going to listen. People are going to actually be able to hear you. 10 years ago it wasn't like that, or 15 years ago before social media was invented. You didn't have these ways to get your voice out there for people to hear you. You had to go on CNN, you had to go on ABC to get an interview, to promote your product. You don't have to do that anymore. So for people to think that legacy media is always right, or the legacy media would never lie or construe you, that you're just brain dead, because now legacy media is at the lowest it's ever been. They need clicks. They need this. They need that. You don't need them. They need you more than you need them. And that's the point we've gotten to with social media and content creation. It's anybody could come on here, say what they want to say, and if it's good, people listen. If not, people won't listen. That's just how it is.
Exactly. It's a free economy. It's just whatever's good is going to do well. Whatever's not is not going to do well. That's just, and that was why I was looking at the comments on that video from CNN, and people were saying, making that same point where she was coming on and asking questions as if, Tim Dillon and Joe Rogan, these guys, her tone was, yeah, you guys are like, this isn't good. You guys know you're bad. Being right wing's bad. You guys are, the crazies, and you guys are doing so well, or having all this influence, etc. What is that? Like, what do you think that is? How do you guys have all the when she doesn't have, well, who knows about her individually, but what the left doesn't understand is, no, it's not that they're wrong or they're the crazies, or that they're doing something nefarious. No, it's just better so people watch it. Nobody's forcing people to watch Joe Rogan, forcing people to watch Tim Dillon, etc. It's not a forceful effort. It's the algorithms are just putting out what people like to consume. So as opposed to looking at it as, what are you guys doing, you nefarious actors? What's this little group and cult that you have of these right wing people? First of all, you don't think you don't have that on the left? The left have the same exact shit going on with their groups and their little cults. But the second thing is if you don't think that your shows are doing well, or that your content's not doing as well, or your comedy is not doing as well, it's not because it's these right wingers that are suppressing it. No, it's just whatever's better is doing well. That's how it works. Like you said, it's just if your show was good and your ideas were great and you were articulate and it made sense and people wanted to buy into those ideas, guess what would happen? You would have more success. You would have more viewership.
Yep. Well, and one of the things that I posted the other day too was the truth will always prevail. So when you watch something and you constantly have to ask like, is this true? Like this doesn't sound right. That's not what I saw. That's not what I read in this article. That's not this. And you're constantly being lied to. You're inherently just gonna ignore them, or you're just not gonna watch. Like you're not gonna believe it. If you just don't believe what they're saying anymore, you're not gonna watch anymore. It's just common sense. So if you believe what somebody else is saying, you're more inclined to watch that. So I think also you got to a point where the legacy media was just lying, especially, we're talking about the Biden stuff, and they were lying. He's sharp as a tack. It's like I could watch a 2-minute clip of him and know he's not okay. No, he's not sharp. So that's when it came full circle, and it's like, are you gonna like? How could you watch something you don't even believe? And then it's done. We got someone in the comment here. Here we go. He's trashing us. You want me to read him?
Yeah, let's see.
He said, "Don't pat yourself on the back too much. You literally have one viewer right now." I like you
And
guys.
it's him.
He said, "I like you guys, but the arrogance is not something I like." Right wingers lie. They don't use facts. That's why people don't like them. Left wingers are weak. They support men and women's sports. That's why I don't like them. I don't know what you're mad about. That's literally what we just said.
Sounds like he can't make up his mind. He likes us, but he doesn't like us.
Yeah, he doesn't like
He's
it.
right. I don't know.
And I'm seeing 10 viewers on my end, buddy. Maybe you're not refreshed.
Let's see here. No, he's probably watching on fucking YouTube. We got people on X, Twitter, Twitch.
Yeah, it's all right, buddy.
So what was he saying? The right wingers lie, etc. Oh, I mean, I'm sure everybody's embellishing. Of course, everybody
That's
embellishes
what
on
we
both
said.
sides.
Everyone supports
Yeah.
their own agenda. We're talking in a legacy media sense. Maybe not. You can't blanket everybody that makes videos into that umbrella, but Fox News, CNN, ABC. I mean, Fox News is really the only right wing one that's on cable television. And I do think they are better than the other ones. If you sit down and you watch, I like Jesse, what's his name? Jesse, I forget. He has a
I have no
nighttime
idea.
show though, and he said it years ago. He's like he always called out Biden that he was not good. Jesse Waters, maybe? Jesse Waters.
That sounds familiar.
Jesse
Yeah.
Waters on Fox. I like him a lot. Peter Ducey, who is a White House correspondent for Fox, he called out what's her name, Karen St. Pierre, all the time. So there's a couple good ones, but of course they're gonna have their own opinions and they're gonna push
Her
their
name's
agenda.
literally Karen.
I think so, isn't it?
I thought you were making a joke that she was a Karen.
Look that
Is
up.
that literally her name? Yeah. All right.
He says he does like both of us, so he's on our side.
Ah, thanks, Harry.
Jesse Waters, Waters. I don't know.
I'm gonna search DEI hire secretary. What do they call her? What do they call him? The press sector
Yeah,
secretary.
press secretary.
All right, hold on. Let me look her up. DEI hire press secretary. Let's see. And they knew who it was right away. Karine Jean. The
Yeah,
DEI hire for press secretary position typically refers to hiring somebody for a press secretary role with the DEI office or department. Yeah, the new one is Carolyn Levitt. The last
yeah,
one was, it might be Karen. It's Karine.
yeah.
Jean Pierre. She can't make up her mind. She's French.
Karine, not Karen.
Yeah. All right. Well, whatever. Anyways, yeah. But what were you saying about her?
Um, I don't know.
Something about Jesse Waters. You like Jesse Waters?
Yeah, oh yeah, I like Jesse Waters, and I was saying Peter Ducey, who also works at Fox, would call her out, and he's a White House correspondent. He's in the White House every day. So there's a couple guys, and I'm sure CNN has a few maybe that aren't totally lost, but yeah, I mean, you got to take every news source with a grain of salt, and that's why I love X. X, you could get it from 100 different sources. You follow who you think is providing you the good information, and then you could base your opinion off that. But if you just go on and you just watch CNN for an hour and then you have this idea of what happened in this part of the world on this day, okay, then you're going to be construed. But when you could actually absorb information from multiple sources, is where you're going to get the best. Is you're going to get the best information.
Right. The different angles is important. So, because the truth is always going to lie somewhere in the middle. Fox is going to give you one version, CNN is going to give you another version, NBC is going to give you, everybody's going to give you their news through their filter and their agenda. On X, like you said, it's you can get it from independent people, which is
Mm-hmm.
good, and you can get it from everybody at the same place. So it gives you an idea of okay, what's actually the truth in all of this because it's always going to lie in between, right? So, for example, you hear some of the things that happen with some deportations that the Trump administration have done. And I've heard some fair criticisms about some of the people they've deported by either mistake or maybe the way that they're targeting some of these people. Maybe they just look like they're an immigrant, so they're just fucking grab them and see if they have papers. Okay, fair enough. It's like unless you are targeting that individual, it's just a random dude who looks Mexican on the street. I don't really think you should just be able to go up to him and grab him and be like, "Hey, where's your fucking papers?" It's just like, if the dude's just walking, he's just walking. All right, like I think that's fair. That's a fair criticism because if you're innocent until proven guilty, if you're just a dude on the street walking normal, you shouldn't just be able to go up and grab a dude and just start patting him down. Because I wouldn't want that to be able to happen to me. So how would they know?
For sure.
And I'm not talking because of the way I look. I'm just saying in general, like me, you, etc.
Yeah, anyone.
Yeah, they shouldn't just be able to go up to somebody and just start patting you down. Like you wouldn't accept that. But on the other hand, the people who are defending the guy that was an MS-13 gang member and has the fucking tattoos on his hand and he's a Maryland father, again, that's the other side of it where it's like, well, that's complete bullshit too. Yes, he is from El Salvador. And yes, he's been in court convicted and shown to be a part of the gang and have affiliation with the gang. And he's not a Maryland father. He is an illegal immigrant. It's like, send him back. Like that's real. So the truth is always somewhere in the middle. Are there going to be mistakes that happen in these deportation efforts? Absolutely. So I don't think you can not criticize the current administration, but what they're doing overall is correct. They're doing the right thing. So you encourage them to continue to do that. Just because Trump says he wants to do it doesn't mean you got to completely disagree with it. No.
Yeah.
There's human error involved with everything.
Yeah, and it's a political battle of the news networks with that because Obama did the same thing, but they would never cover it the way they cover, the Trump administration doing. Obama deported over 8 million people. So, there's every president deports people. That's part of being the commander in chief is you have to get people that aren't supposed to be in the country that are a potential risk out of the country. That's part of the job. It's literally part of the job. Um,
Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, plenty of videos of her saying, we want to get
yeah.
illegal immigrants off of our healthcare system. She's saying the same shit. This is just 10 years ago. And all of a sudden now it's controversial. So, no, that makes sense. They're here illegally. Why would they be on the same systems as our citizens? Then what's the point of being a citizen of the U.S.?
Yeah.
What's the benefit? So, the other thing, too, I noticed is it's incredible how they use language to brainwash you. And it makes sense because it's the same thing in sales. The words that you use and the way that you say them will affect the way somebody thinks about you or thinks about what you're trying to sell them. Okay. So I'm personally super cognizant of the words that I use and how I say them. What did the left start doing with illegal immigrants? Well, illegal immigrants is fucking hilariously obvious what they are,
Are you
right?
talking about the undocumented migrants?
Undocumented migrants is now the term. But again, the disrespect to our intelligence, as if we don't know what you're trying to do there.
Yep.
Because yeah, when you're on the left and you're saying, well, the illegal immigrants should be able to say, and they're not breaking any laws, even though you're literally call them illegal immigrant. They broke the law to get here, but they didn't break any laws. So now it's undocumented. They're undocumented. What are you? Shut the fuck up, dude. Hilarious.
So actually, hang on, my computer is not plugged in. Let me plug this in. I want your opinion on something. Oh, hang on one second. Let me plug this in.
You're good. You're good. Ready? Mr. Producer. Give him a little Mr. Producer. There he is.
Um, so off topic of what we were talking about, but I want your opinion on this. So I I put out a post the other day, like, if you work with AI, message me. I want to collaborate with you. I got a couple messages back. One guy wanted to schedule a meeting. He builds AI automation software for his clients, right? So I was like, I'll take a call with him. Maybe, he would offer me an AI automation system. Like, I want to see what he's about, like what he does. So I signed up, but whatever. I didn't know what the call was about. So I was just like, let's have a conversation with this guy. Um, so I get on this morning. I feel like I'm lagging. I don't know why.
You are
And
a little bit, but I can hear you.
I get on the call this morning. The call was scheduled from 9:30 to 10:30, an hour call. I already thought that was a little long. I was like, all right, an hour call, first meeting. Like, all right, what are we gonna talk about? And as soon as we get on the call, this guy is like,
He
hey,
got his hammer out.
yeah, well, he's like, is it okay if the call goes over? Hey, I'm sorry, I gotta X out of some stuff here. We're lagging too bad. He's like, is it okay if we
If the
go?
call goes over, I would say, yeah, it's okay if you sell me 5 grand.
Yeah, he's like, are you okay if the call goes over a little bit past 10:30? And I was like, I'm like, no, I have another call at 10:30, but I mean, we have the full hour. And we went back and forth for, I'm not kidding, 5 minutes, him trying to get me to be okay with going over the call. I'm like, buddy, I have a call at 10:30. I'm like, you already wasted 5 minutes going back and forth with me trying to get me to be on the call longer. Let's talk for the next hour about whatever you're doing. And he's like, oh, sorry, Bob, I can't do it. I have to know that, we're going to be able to be flexible. I don't want to have a time constraint. He's like, how about we schedule tomorrow for an hour? I'm like, we have an hour right now. And he asked me, he goes, all right, so can I schedule you for the call at 9:30 tomorrow? I'm like, buddy, you already wasted 5 minutes out of my day. Absolutely not. And I hung up on him. So what was he trying, like, what was he trying to do to get me to, like, go over the call? It made no sense to me, and he ended up losing me in 5 minutes. Is he just the
What
worst
was he
salesman
trying?
of all time?
What was he trying to say? Do you think he was trying to pitch you on something?
Yeah, I mean, I think he was, the AI automation that he builds. It wasn't even, so the guy that originally reached out to me, it wasn't him. It was one of his sales people. So
Okay,
after I
okay.
hung up on the guy, I messaged the guy. I'm like, I just spoke with Will or something his name was, and I'm like, he argued with me for 5 minutes about getting more time than was already scheduled. I put, like, I recommend you schedule your meetings longer if you anticipate keeping people for an hour and a half as opposed to an hour, which I put is already too long. Like whatever you're trying to sell, you have to do it within an hour time frame. Like, come on. So it was like, it was the worst sales pitch I've ever heard in my entire life. We didn't even get through, like, introductions.
Yeah, this guy's a moron for sure. Idiot. That's not how you. What? What? The time has nothing to do with anything. I've never once in my entire sales career ever worried about making sure we had an agreed allotted time for him to speak. That's not how it works. If you and this is exactly a great point that you got upset about the 1 hour time frame. This is why in sales you never give people a time frame.
Yep.
If you give them a time frame, what do people instantly do? Okay, I'm sticking to that time frame. So people, whenever they're making phone calls or trying to do telesales and they want to book appointments, new people or poor salespeople will say, somebody will ask, well, how long is this going to take? Oh, it's only going to be 10 minutes. It'll be real fast. Or 15 minutes. It'll be real fast. 20 minutes. It'll be real fast. And then as soon as you get into the presentation, client's going to be sitting there thinking, 20 minutes is up, buddy. What the fucking wrap this shit up? Same thing happened with you. He schedules an hour and then he shows up. Hey, is it okay if we go longer than an hour?
Well,
Like, dude,
the worst part was, I was like, listen, if we get to 10:30 and I need to jump to my other call, like, I'm happy to, if we left something out that you wanted to talk about, I'm happy to meet again tomorrow. He's like, no, I can't do it. It's part of our policy. I don't want to have a time limit. I'm like, I can't help you, dude. Sorry. So
yeah,
just a
these
learning
guys are,
experience for anyone watching, or for myself even. Like, that was terrible.
yeah, these guys are broke. They're morons. It doesn't make any sense. You never give a time frame ever. If somebody asks you how long something's going to take, it's always, oh, it'll be real quick, Bob. Just depends on how many questions you have. So again, I could either do between 9:30. I could either do 9:30. I could do 1 o'clock. What time works better for you?
Yeah, I'll do
9:30. Okay, perfect.
9:30.
Perfect. That's it, bro. You don't ever give a time frame ever in sales, ever. Because if it's actually a good presentation and you're actually getting to the close, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It could take 30 minutes, could take 45 minutes, could take an hour. As long as it's a good presentation, you're making the sale, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, under an hour for sure. You can't be presenting to somebody for more than an hour. Then you're just
They'll be sleeping.
yeah, yeah. You got to piss off. This is real, especially with today's TikTok minds and Instagram minds. Everything is people want speed. People got too much shit going on, too many distractions, too many things they got to worry about. Get it over with. Why do I need it? What problems do I have? Why do I need your product? How's it going to solve my problems? Great. How much is it? That's it. Get out of there. You're done. But that's odd that he said that that was their company policy.
Yeah, it made no absolutely no sense to me. I had to hang up on the guy because it was literally that bad. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask you. You know, you're in sales. You talk to people like that every day. Like, if we had a whole hour, like he could have did anything in that whole hour, and he probably like I was very interested. Like, I don't schedule calls with anyone just to like talk. Like, I wanted to know how he built these AI systems and how it could help me, help you, like whatever. And then it's like it's an hour is not enough time, just in case. He's like, I need to know we don't have a time limit. It's like, what, you want me to talk to you all day? Like, we stay here for 4 hours and talk? Like, get out of here, dude.
Yeah, that's just not smart. The other mindset with that too is as a businessman, as a hustler, somebody who's trying to make money, you've got to be adaptive to the environment. So if you already have an hour and you want to just for a guarantee know 100% for sure that you're going to have an hour and a half, you're missing the whole point. Even if you know you need an hour and a half, hey, speed it the fuck up, get it done in an hour and close this motherfucker. Get to it. Don't sit here and argue about the time frame because then he just completely lost the sale. You're never going to meet with him again. It's just
I
boneheaded.
wish I
That's
had it
just
recorded.
boneheaded.
It was hilarious. Once I hung up, I literally just started laughing. I was like, what the fuck was that?
Was it a foreign dude? Was it a dude from
No, it was a fucking white kid. Probably from New
American?
Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bumbaclot.
Bomba clot. Bomba clot. We got to get him into the insurance deal. We'll turn him into a savage. But yeah, that's foolishness. An hour and a half time frame. I'm trying to think of what because I want to give him some benefit of the doubt. If he's saying that that's the company policy, is that what he was saying? It's like
No, he
it's
was
a
saying the policy was that they don't want to have a
time
cutoff.
constraint.
Yeah, like because I got on at 9:30 and I told him I had another call at 10:30 and he's like, oh well, our company policy is we don't want to have time constraints on our meetings. It's like I don't care about your fucking company policy. First of all, second of all, I moved my schedule around to talk to you at 9:30 in the morning on a fucking Wednesday. So let's make it snappy, you know?
And so here's the other odd thing about that. Our company policy is not to have time constraints on the meetings. Then why the fuck are you giving the meeting a time constraint?
Exactly. That was my whole thought. I was like, well, why do you have me go to a Calendly link where it's hour time slots? So like, what if somebody scheduled a meeting after me at 10:30? What would you do?
Bomba clot. That's just
It's
morons.
a bunch of
Idiots.
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 If this tells you guys anything, is that the opportunity for sales is the door is wide open. Like these kids these days suck.
Oh yeah, especially with how many people I've recruited, trained, developed over the last 4 years. People, and it's I get it because they just don't understand it, or they've never been with somebody who was able to train them correctly. People are awful at sales, awful, especially more so nowadays because a lot of things can be done behind a computer or through marketing or online ads, etc. So there's no you're losing the salesmanship of it. But just that pure get on a Zoom call, high ticket sales, life insurance sales, car sales, the classical, it's me and you, buddy. And I got to convince you to do this. And I got to convince you to spend some serious cash. You got to know how to sell. You got to know what you're doing or you're going to get absolutely obliterated because it's just not going to make sense. Like that in and of itself was such a small detail that he should have just been trained better on that lost him the whole sale. He didn't even get a chance to present to you. because he was so worried about not having a time constraint. Then don't have a time constraint, bum a clut. Just book it for 9:30, jump on the call, and then let it rip. Damn.
He was pressed. I had a 10:30 call. He couldn't handle it. Lost the sale. Oh well.
The one other teaching point I'll give to people watching is that's a lack of control as well. If you're so worried about the time frame that a meeting can go to, means that you can't dictate pace. It means you can't dictate when this actually ends. Therefore, you lack control in the sale anyways. If you have supreme control of a sale, I know exactly how long it takes for me to do a presentation and close a deal. It's within 30 minutes to an hour maximum. That's it. Why? Because I dictate pace. I have control. If you have true control, you dictate the pace, and you know how you got to move through things so that it's going to be done in a timely fashion. The only reason something would take a little bit longer than typical is if that person is really asking good questions, or they're really interested in doing something above and beyond what you're going to typically sell them for, etc. Sure, it's possible, but that's a lack of control. You should have enough control to get it done in an hour. Boom, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show too. You could have every part of your business running good. Like this kid, he had like 100,000 followers on Instagram, posting Instagram reels and ads, right, of showing his AI automation systems. It's like very good, eye catching. He's a good speaker to the camera. And even the funnel where you fill out your information, it gives you the Calendly where you fill out your time slot. Everything was great. It was crisp. But then you have some bozo working for you who doesn't know what he's doing, or just, I don't know, wanted to try to big dog me that I don't know. It seemed like he didn't want to have the meeting. At some point, it got to a point where I had to hang up, and I was like, we're not going to, like, this meeting's not happening. So I had to hang up on him. So it goes to show you guys, like, every part of your business has to be clicking on cylinders, or the set, like, all that advertising, all those Instagram reels, it didn't mean anything in the end of the day for me, because the meeting went terribly in the first 5 minutes.
That's a good point. He just this one fucker is cucking your whole deal. Because I bet that if that's the energy you were getting from him, I bet you that was part of it then. He was probably just, he didn't feel like even doing the sit. I get that. There's fatigue. There are times where I have an entire appointment or schedules booked, and there's that little voice in the back of your head where you're not going to stop the presentation from happening, but boy, you wouldn't be pissed if that person no showed you.
Yeah.
Just be like, well, it's nothing I could have done
Oh,
about it.
wait
You
a
just
second.
no
Wait a
showed me.
second. I just forgot. He texted me last night.
Oh, nice. What was he calling you, a pussy or something? Hey, you motherfucker, you got an hour and a half for tomorrow?
Or contracts put a face in the name. I'm Will. I'll be the one actually on the meeting speaking with you. Before we do so, I need you to do two things for me. Number one, shoot me a text back confirming that you can 100% make that time slot. You're not going to be driving, distracted, anything crazy like that.
Real
Two,
concerned about the
two
time
videos.
slot.
It should only take you about 20, 25 minutes to watch them both, but it's super important that you do so. It gives you a good overview of what we do here and how we can actually help you scale your AI agency. Other than that, it's my personal cell. If you have any questions in the meantime,
This is personal cell. Here's the number. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Shoto, everybody. Interesting. So that was the guy you actually spoke with on the call?
Yeah, I hope he's watching, man, because I really want you to do better. You seemed like a nice guy. You just, you know.
He's not. Yeah, he doesn't. He's just sharp. Seems sharp enough. Well spoken enough. He definitely is. You can tell he's very scripted. Which, over time, as you get better in sales, you want to be more authentic. So the way I would have delivered that message would have been, "Hey, Bobby, good to meet you. It's Priamo Persichetti. Just real quick for tomorrow, right? A couple of things I'm going to need you to do. Number one, just make sure that you confirm with me that for sure you're going to be able to make it for that time slot tomorrow. And number two, just make sure you're not, in the car driving, doing something crazy, taking the kids to school. Just make sure you're sat down, got pen and some paper. We can get through this really quick." Like, I'll just try to be a little bit more authentic with it. But other than that, if he had some good training, he could be good.
Yeah. The main thing that I thought about afterwards, I was like, for his industry and what he's trying to do, he's going to be dealing with people that own businesses, people that do things all day, every day. Like, it was 9:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. Like, I'm working. Like, I'm
It's
working.
game time.
Yeah, like, I'm working. And if you're going to try to schedule an hour meeting, which I was happy to do, but then, like, extend it on me, it's like, and then get upset with me that I didn't want to go over the time a slot. So that's what really just sent me over the edge. I was like, listen, man, I'm already busy and I'm making time to talk to you. Let's do this hour. And he wouldn't do it. But Trent is still here from before. He's warmed up to us again, Trent. He wants us to bring him.
He loves us now.
he wants his IG. I'll Trent, shoot me a DM. I'll send you his IG.
Oh, he wants my IG.
No, he wants the IG of that guy so he can make fun of him. He said.
Got you, got you. Yeah, actually, send that to me afterwards too. I want to see his page.
I'll send it to you.
We can hire him for TC, and then we'll turn him into a savage. What was the one other thing I was gonna say on that note with business? Oh yeah, knowing your clientele is huge. Like you said, that's a great point. The people he's gonna be pitching to are business owners, people who are doing shit, and if these are the type of people who actually have the money to spend on your service, their time is therefore worth money.
Yep.
So the last thing you want to do with somebody like me or you is go on a Zoom with us and get into a back and forth about how much time we're going to spend on this Zoom. As soon as you tell me an hour, I'm already thinking,
That's a lot.
Yo, I charge thousands of dollars for an hour of my time. And you want me to get on an hour Zoom call with you where not only am I not going to make money, but you're expecting me to spend money with you? This better be the shit that's going to send me to Mars. This better be the next big thing, right? So then to say to a business owner, but I can't be constrained to a time frame. Well, listen, buddy, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I do get paid based off of time. This does matter to me. So don't put me in a situation where I have to promise you that I can go over as much time as you need. Kick rocks. Figure it the fuck out. Sell me in an hour. Figure it out. Yeah.
God,
Not a good.
I wish you were on that meeting. That was. But I mean, you have to go through those. Like for him, he's has to. I'm glad I gave him that experience. So maybe next time he's doesn't push back as much when I say, "Hey, I have a meeting at 10:30. I need to jump to. I can't go over the time frame with you." He's gonna know that. Okay, yeah, sure. We'll work in the next hour to get whatever he has to do in. That's all. That's all he had to say was, "Hey, I'll give you the next hour," and I would have talked to him literally for an hour. So it's all learning experiences and. Something else that I was thinking about today was the evolution of business, right? And the reason I was thinking of this actually was because we're coming up on 1 year of the Taylor's Code, and was thinking about the evolution that we've already gone through in 1 year of doing this, right? So we started on the school community. We had good success there in the beginning, bringing people on while school was new, and they did promotions to bring people in, and we got on the For You page there, had people coming in who are still with us today. So we had great success there, but then it evolved. We needed more tools. We needed more presentation things inside the Discord. And Trent, if you're not in the Discord, check out the link in our description. We'll get you in there if you want to work with us on the day today. So we had that evolution of turning from school to Discord, and then we had to kind of revamp marketing and redo different things. So your business is never going to look like a finished product ever. Even the biggest companies in the world. Think of Walmart. Think of even Kmart back in the day. Like, they were department stores. Now Walmart is one of the biggest e-commerce stores in the whole world. With Amazon, how that transitioned from a bookstore. Now they're AI and data and web services, right? So things evolve and things change, and it just made me think about it because the Taylor's Code, what we've built so far, is far from a finished product. You know, a lot of the things that we do are great for day-to-day activities, but we're far from what we want to be doing. And that was just something I wanted to say, that for people that are starting businesses this year and that are maybe upset that they're not generating any money here and not doing anything here, it's all an evolution. You have to go through those failures to get to the successes, and especially in online business, you're going to fail a lot because there's so much competition. Anybody could jump online and start a business in a certain way. So it's easy to get discouraged and kind of give up on it, but you have to fail to get to that next step of the evolution.
It's because the failure is so important, because it's the only way you're going to get the lessons you need to actually make money in your industry or in your business. What you said is true. You can't look at a business that you start and failing at it be some type of reason as to why you should stop trying to build other businesses. The vast majority of people, the first business they start is not the business they end up making their money in.
Yep.
Very rarely. Very rarely. 90-some% of businesses, I forget the actual number, but 90+% of businesses go bankrupt and are out of business after 2 years. It's a majority of them. They don't start making money until after 2 years. Either they go under at that point or they start making money. So that's the other mind fuck of business when you're truly starting something from zero by yourself is it's so crazy to realize that, oh wow, for the first 2 years I'm actually expected not to make money. I would be beating the odds if I was profitable even within 2 years. So what's such a great analogy one of my mentors used for business is it's basically like building a house from scratch. So you contract to a company, you want to build a new home, and it takes a year to build that new home. But for the first 10 months of that home being built, it's not going to look much like a home at all. It's just going to be foundation, digging the hole, putting in the foundation, putting in all the pipes, putting in like doing all the things that are required to actually raise the home on top for those first 10 months. If you didn't know what the finished product was going to look like, you would never think a house was going up there. It's not until the last month or two when you see everything start to come together at the same time and you realize, oh, wow, this is what I've been working towards this entire time.
Yep.
The scary thing about business is you just don't know what that time frame is. There's just no guarantee that that house is ever going to go up. But just because you don't see the walls, you don't see the rooms and the bathrooms and the bricks and the roof, just because you don't see it doesn't mean that the house isn't being built. It's there, it's getting put together. It's just not until the end where you see all that shit come together and you start to win. That's what's scary about it. That's what's hard. It's just like, I don't know if this house is even getting built right now. Is it? Well, it is. It is. If you're moving forward and you're actually giving your best effort, you're actually trying your hardest, you're actually being innovative, changing the things that you're doing incorrectly, trying new things, trying new ideas, eventually the house is going to go up. You're going to see it.
Yeah,
You just
that's
got
a
to
great
trust.
analogy. It's it is, and that's the grind of it, right? You have to wake up every day with that mindset of, okay, I can't see the finish line. It's like a marathon race. You can't see the finish line, but you know you have so far to go to get there. And that's the thing that sets people back is they can't see the finish line, but they have all this work they have to do in front of them, and that's what just makes them give up because they're like they want the $100,000 a month in revenue from their business, but you have to spend 6 months to a year to get to that point. Depending on what you're doing, it could be longer, it could be 5 years. Some people don't get to that mark till 5 years, and that's the grind of it is you have to do all these tasks and get all these workflows in place for you to make this money without ever like actually seeing the finish line. So it's that's the grind and some of the stuff that I've learned over the past year doing the Taylor's Code with you, and some of the stuff that we've built has worked, some of it has not. Some of the stuff you have to burn and turn, and you take a new page on it and you try something new.
Yep. And to go back to the running analogy, right, with the marathon, it's another great analogy because it may have been David Goggins who was saying this, but it was one of these Navy SEAL type guys. They had gone through that incredibly difficult training. They've been through rough, difficult situation, high stress situations. And it's not the marathon or ultra marathon that you have to run that's the most difficult because at least you have, like you said, a finish line to go after. You know when it's going to end. The suffering's going to be bad, but at least you know where you're shooting. I believe it was Goggins was saying the worst part about one of the Navy SEALs trainings that he was doing is they would go on runs, but they didn't know how long the run was going to be. It was until the instructor said stop. And so it's that mind fuck of not knowing where the finish line is that creates that sense of hopelessness. If you know it's 26.2 miles, at least if you keep moving forward, you know you're ticking off the miles and eventually you're going to get to 26.2. But if you don't know if it's going to be 15, 50, 100, 32 miles, that's what fucks with people mentally.
Yeah.
And so they just give up before they even get there.
Same with
Yeah.
business. You can't. It's the same with business. A lot of people they don't. That is the real analogy there because you don't. There is no finish line in business, right? It's ever evolving. Even look at Elon Musk. He's still chasing something bigger every single day. So Yeah, you're always going to have something bigger and better to look for. Even when you do reach that $100,000 a month in revenue mark for your business, it's like, okay, how do we get to 150, and how do we get to 200? And you keep stacking it and you keep building it, and it all starts from, how do I get my first customer? How do I build my website? How do I run my first ad? So there's all these little mile markers that you have to get to in life and in business until you could actually start to see the vision, like you say, and you start laying the foundation in the house. It's like, okay, now I have the web page. Now I'm driving traffic to the web page. Now I got my first customer. And now so there's steps to it that everybody can do. That's the beauty of business, right? You see everybody tries, and a lot of people succeed. A lot of people don't succeed. But it's the strong-minded that'll prevail in the end. And the consistency, we preach it all the time. Consistency over a long enough period of time, you're going to be successful.
And that's the paradox of it too, right? Is like you were saying with Elon, the people that aren't actually running because they're looking for the finish line, it's the ones who are running just for the sake that they love to run are the ones who end up going the furthest. They enjoy the running in and of itself. That's what excites them. Therefore, they're the ones who end up overachieving. It's the people who are trying to make money to immediately retire that inevitably are the ones who end up working their entire life and never getting to retire because they were only ever doing enough just to get by. It's the guy that doesn't give a fuck about retiring, being comfortable, doing nothing. It's the guy who just wants to go to war just for the sake of going to war and doing something and creating something and being successful. That's going to end up making all the money, and he could retire. Most of the time, guess what? He's not going to, because that's not how he's built. That's not in his fabric. That's not in his nature. Those are the people who win. That's the paradox of it. It's like those that are looking to not work end up doing the most work.
Yeah. Newsflash, you can't retire at 65 anymore. People our age, not going to have enough money. If you make $80,000 a year for the next 40 years, you're not going to have enough money to retire. Trent wants to know about working out. He's trying to gain 12 pounds of muscle in the next 12 weeks by the end of summer. Some tips for Trent on getting bigger by the end of summer.
Is this Trentino? Is this Trent Zavarilla?
I have no idea.
Bro, I bet you this is fucking Trent, fucking Zavarilla's younger brother.
Dude, he's been here the whole stream. If it is, Trilla, welcome in.
Welcome in, Trilla. I think it is Trentino. And Trentino's skinny, motherfucker, so that makes sense. I bet you, I guarantee you it's Zav. It's
Some
is
of the
it?
stuff he's been saying now, it kind of makes sense if it was Trent. Is this Zavarilla?
Yeah. Is this Trentino? If he says, I bet you it is because Trentino said he's going to start a podcast about sports gambling. So I think that's why he's tuned in. He's trying to get some clout for his podcast.
I could check after the stream.
Yeah. Hit him up and see if he's fucking trolling us. But in terms of fitness, oh, isn't that interesting? We actually have a fitness campus inside the Taylor's Code where you can get fucking ripped to the fucking gills. Fucking get pumped up for the summer. Get some honeys for you, Trentino. We got a fitness camp inside the Taylor's Code, so they'll take care of that for you. But just to give you some tips, number one, just go to the gym. Obviously, I guarantee you're not going to the gym every single day right now. And I know that's obvious. It's an easy thing to say, but it's true. Even if you don't work out, just developing the habit of going to the gym in and of itself is going to be good for you. This is something that I learned about when I read Atomic Habits. It's a very good point. Said a big thing that they do with people who are very overweight, obese, never go to the gym, to get them to break out of that habit of not going to the gym, just get up and go. Even if you don't even touch a weight. Just the fact that you got up out of your couch, got into the car, and drove to the gym is the formation of a new habit. And so if you can just consistently do that for a week, even if you don't even touch a weight, just do it so you create the habit. And then you start 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You're going to the gym anyways, you might as well stay there 30 minutes. You might as well stay there an hour. Next thing you know, you're doing full-blown workouts. So you just got to go to the gym. That's the most obvious one. And I start with that because I know a lot of people who ask this question just don't go to the gym. Go to the fucking gym. You can't get fit if you're not going to the gym.
Yep.
Lift weights. The other thing would be take your supplementation seriously. So creatine every day. I take hydrogen tablets. I take vitamins, a vitamin mix in the morning. Omega 3 amino acids is huge too for protein. So you don't have to eat a bunch of food and,
Yeah.
and take a bunch of whey
It's
protein.
good
No,
for your
amino
recovery
acids.
too. You won't be as sore.
Yep. I would take all those supplements. I take all these supplements. That makes me feel fantastic. I have energy. I go to the gym every single day. I do full blown workouts, shredded. Same thing with Bobby. We go to the gym. It's you just go to the gym, right? And if you want the actual personal plan on what supplements to take, what splits you want to do, what workouts you want to do, then yeah, join the Taylor's Code. We got a whole fitness campus. It's going to show you everything, top to bottom, on what to do, and you'll have that. But just start with going to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, and in terms of growing muscle, it has a lot to do with the food you eat. If you're eating McDonald's, if you're eating Taco Bell every night, it's going to be tough for you. It's going to be tough for you to keep the fat off, is what I'll say, because you could get good protein at places like that, but then you're going to gain fat with it, and that's not what you want. You want to eat lean protein. Um, Eat as much as you possibly can while you're working out. If you're really in the gym throwing weight around and you're sore and you're tired, you have to be eating just as much protein as you weigh in one day. For me, I weigh 180 pounds. It's a lot of food. If you're skipping meals and you're eating like shit, if you're just eating snacks, if you're eating Doritos on the couch, it's gonna be hard for you to look good and put on muscle because your body's not getting the proper nutrients. And like Priamo was saying, taking your supplements and vitamins to recover properly, it's gonna be a lot harder. So yeah, I definitely agree with Priamo. Said get in the gym, even if you walk on the treadmill your first couple of days, just to get the blood flowing and get pumping. But then if you're trying to gain 12 pounds in 12 weeks, it's really going to come down to your diet. So just as much as you're working out, you have to worry about the food you're eating.
12 pounds is nothing in 12 weeks. That's 3 months.
Yeah,
Bruv, you can for sure do that.
yeah,
The big game changer for me was the amino acids. That was the big game changer. The reason the amino acids work so well is because those are the building blocks of protein. So
yep,
what your body naturally does when you eat food is it takes animal protein, or wherever you're getting your protein from. It has to break the protein down into amino acids to then rebuild it back up into your own protein. So your body doesn't just take in protein and then that protein just goes into your muscles. No, it has to break it down, rebuild those amino acids back up into new proteins, which is going to be your own body. And that's how you build muscle. So what amino acids do is it bypasses the need to input all this inefficient protein that you're eating. So whey protein, I don't take any protein powder.
me
Haven't
either,
in years.
me either.
You don't need it. It's also one of the most inefficient ways to get protein because about 20 to 25% or 19% of that whey protein actually gets absorbed by your body. So it's an awful mechanism to take in protein. Meats, steaks, 35%, 40% efficiency. Eggs, about 58% efficiency, the protein that you take in from those things. So what amino acids does, it's a 99% efficiency. You just take in the amino acids and you can build protein out of it. So what you do is you take it on an empty stomach, so that you can maintain that 99% efficiency. So I take it in the morning when I'm fresh, fasted, 7 p.m. Don't eat till 11 o'clock the next day. So in the morning, rip my amino acids, rip my vitamins, rip my hydrogen
Espresso.
tablets, rip my quad shot to the face, put my head through a wall, and then I'm off to the gym, baby. And I'm fucking pumping. But those have been game changers. Creatine every single day as well. Creatine is huge too.
That's a
You
must.
gotta take creatine. Yep.
That is one that I've been on for 3 years now, consistent, and that is the one I'd say it's not only the muscle that you're going to get and the absorption of your body. I think creatine actually helps me absorb a lot of my water weight and protein as well, but it's also the clarity you get mentally from the creatine. I feel it because I take my creatine in the morning on an empty stomach and it hits me instantly. I could feel the creatine being absorbed into my body and it helps me mentally, I think, as well.
I agree. Yeah, the creatine is a game changer. I hadn't taken that for a while since high school, and then just recently because Logan Logan basically pushed me back on it. He said, dude, just fucking take it. And I noticed because I'm 27, I'm not old, but I'm not 22. I had more energy when I was 22.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed in the gym just a little bit towards the end of my workouts. I've been doing the same workouts for since I was 14, 15 years old. Very similar. I could notice towards the end of my workouts, I would be trailing off in energy for sure. And I was saying, okay, that's a problem because if I don't have the energy to actually lift the weights, I'm not going to be able to continue to grow the muscle. As soon as I started taking the creatine, energy came back, finishing the workouts, and then the amino acids was the next level. Now with the amino acids, dude, I did 20 muscle ups at the gym.
Muscle ups?
Yes, yeah, yesterday,
So
full
like,
blown muscle ups. Yeah, phew, just full fucking full arms like this up above the bar, full muscle ups, brother. 20, not all at once, but in sets of five. Boom, boom, complete muscle ups, bruv. And I was doing muscle ups a couple of years ago, but then I kind of trailed off a little bit, just was a little bit too much. Dude, now, boom, boom. And the honeys love the muscle ups. You put, dude, I'm the only dude in the fucking gym hitting muscle ups, the only guy. I'm going up there like Superman, boom, boom, do five. I jump up off the bar, I turn around, 22 honeys are like, oh, they're all looking and they're all turn away at the same time. It's like, yeah, no, I get it. I get it. So that's how we gotta get Trentino. Like, what's he saying over there? He's probably talking shit.
he said, "Ever go on gear? I might need to go on gear."
Yeah, this is Zavatrilla for sure. No, no gear. Don't go on gear. You don't need
No,
that.
gear. You your body produces enough testosterone to get you fit enough that your body could handle. You don't need to be 240 pounds with all this muscle hanging off your little tiny skeleton that can't even hold it up, right? That's the whole point of gear, is to just maximize your muscles, and you don't need that. What you need is a good cardio regimen, and me personally, I like walking until my feet hurt. I also run as well, not as much as I would like to. I should dial in more on the running. But I do walk a lot. I walk at least 5 to 6 miles a day. It's easy where I live, but some people don't have that luxury. But walking as much as possible is how our ancestors stayed in shape, right? They would walk miles and miles to go get food, or miles and miles to do whatever they had to do before cars and such. So walking is one of the human's greatest gifts we have. We are naturally one of the best, like, long range walkers and runners. So you have to utilize that.
I was just thinking about the gear because Trentino said, "You ever think about going on gear?" Going on gear is for you would basically be saying that, oh, I have a Honda Civic. Let me put 93 premium fuel in it and it's gonna go faster, right? It's like, no, you like the car is still a piece of shit. So you gotta improve the vehicle that you're operating in. And then if you want to get that extra oomph of performance, then that's like bumping up to a 93, 95 octane fuel. That's where you get on the gear. But why would you get on gear when you're just trying to put on 12 pounds in 12 weeks? And it's like, no, don't do that. There's no reason to get on gear. Unless you have an actual testosterone deficiency and you can't even get your dick hard, okay, get on some testosterone. Otherwise, don't. What are you going to get on gear for? Because you're going to affect your fertility if you do that.
That's a big
and there's
thing.
and then there's other health complications. So what's the point of being big and jacked and ripped if you can't have any children? No, dude, forget that. Do everything else right first, and then you worry about that.
Well, that's the problem. Too many people want to take shortcuts in the hard stuff, and with your body, the beautiful thing about being in shape is that you can't buy it. A lot of people could buy a sports car and they look cool, or you buy designer clothes and you look cool. But when you pop your shirt off and you got pecs and a six pack, that's a lot cooler than all that stuff, because you can't buy that. It's something you have to work for. And a lot of people don't want to work for it. That's why when you walk around the streets and people are fat, and that's just, that's the decision they choose to make. A lot of people can't do it. That's why when you see somebody who's in great shape, it's inspiring, and it's an achievement, because it's not easy to do. If it was so easy, everybody would do it.
Hmm.
So a lot of people like to take shortcuts. It's the same what we were talking about before in business. You can't take shortcuts, and gear is a shortcut for a lot of people who try to look the best that they possibly could without doing the most amount of work.
Right. And the shortcuts aren't worth it because you don't get any of the lessons involved with what you were trying to do anyways. The shortcut robs you of the whole lesson that you could have learned. What's the point of going to the gym? Me and Bobby aren't competing as bodybuilders. I'm not going to the gym because I need to move heavy weights through my work or through my career. No. I don't even lift the weights. Yeah, it's nice that I look good, but I'm not, sitting there sculpting the perfect body to get into a competition. No, the reason I go to the gym is because you break down the body to build up the mind. It's about the consistency and the discipline that is required to have a six pack, that's required to have the physique that you want to have. It's the discipline that you need to instill into yourself that will translate into the other parts of your life. That's the point of it. That's why I go to the gym or run every single day. I don't have, two on, one off, two on, one off, two on, what like this routine. No, no. My routine is I went to the gym yesterday. This is what I hit. So today I have to do this. Okay. And tomorrow then I have to do this. And then the day after that, like that I just go every day. And if I didn't go, I wouldn't even feel right. Because if I don't have the gym in the day, now I feel it's such a habit to the point where now I have to go, which is healthy. It's a healthy discipline. And same thing with the running. This is why running and cardio is so important too. Outside of the gym is breaking down your body. The running is breaking down and developing your mindset because running is going to test your mental strength. Okay. Because people can run much, 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 much further than they realize, but their threshold for quitting is so low that they think they can only run a mile or two.
I'm right there. After the first mile, I'm like, fuck, man, I can't do this no more.
When I was talking to this girl, it's incredible how the energy of heartbreak that you get. It's the best. There's nothing better than that. That you become invincible. That's why I love it. I love it. Once you after the first bad one and you realize, oh, okay, this is just what it is.
Yeah,
The next one is the next ones are
fun.
it's fun. So as me and this girl stopped talking, and that very fucking day, the first time ever I ran a half marathon. I just went and ran a half marathon. My legs were numb. My knees, I couldn't feel them. I sore for days. But if it wasn't for that energy, that power I gained from that emotion or that heartbreak, I never would have ran that far. I would have quit way earlier because I just didn't have an incentive to run. But because I was so worked up and I said, I need to go be a fucking hero, I need to show that I'm a savage, I ran a half marathon. I never would have ran that half marathon if it wasn't for that. So that's what I'm saying. It's so mental running. That's why it's so good for you to do it. It's just so mental. People can run way further than they realize.
Yeah.
Way further.
For
It
me,
just sucks.
for me, it's the legs. I start feeling it in the legs, and then it gets in my head. I'm like, oh, my legs are starting to get sore. My shins are hurting. My feet are hurting. And then I start thinking. That's all I'm thinking about. I'm like, oh, my feet hurt. My legs hurt. My feet hurt. My legs hurt. And then like I get to that mile mark or the 2 mile mark if I'm having a good day, and then I'm like, I'm done. I can't do it. But I agree. My legs will survive if I ran another mile or another 2 miles, maybe further. But it's that mind thing. It's your brain telling you that, hey, your legs are hurting. Okay, well, my legs hurt when I do leg day too, but I don't give up. I do the routine. So I agree. The mind over matter in running is very hard to overcome. And I see a lot of people running, so I do have great respect for a lot of people that do run out here.
Yeah, that's what Logan was telling me is whenever I was just doing consistently about 2 miles, I would just do 2 mile runs. This is where I was just like, all right, I'm good there. He just said it and he kept telling me, and it's true. He goes, dude, I promise you, you can run more. You're just not running more. And it literally is just that simple. He goes, just do a 5K. There's no option. Just literally do the 5K. And then once you do the 5K, you realize, oh wait, the 5K wasn't that bad. Just because once you've had the decision you're going to run 3.2, 3.3 miles, then you just do it. And then all of a sudden, all of my runs were 5Ks. I wouldn't do anything less than a 5K when I was really dialed into it before winter. So it's just so funny how as soon as you break the mental barrier in terms of what's a long run, and then you just actually become accustomed to what that workload is,
Yeah.
you just now it's normal. So then I would hit 5Ks like it was nothing. The same way I was hitting a mile like it's nothing. A mile or two is it's not a lot, but it still is just
Yeah.
it's like fuck. But it's not a lot, and that's what I've been doing recently is just mile runs because it started getting nice out again. I'm now going to get back up to the 5K mark, and then I got to get back up to 5 miles. So 5 mile runs per rip.
So one of the reasons I never really got into longer distance running is because I've heard more good things about interval sprints. So sprinting as hard as you could for 30 seconds and then taking the next 30 seconds off and then sprinting again for 30 seconds and then, on and off hard as you like legitimate sprint intervals. I've heard good things about that in terms of like your fast twitch muscles. A lot of professional athletes, they when they go out there on the field, they're not just striding along, they're looking to actually like boom, like they're trying to build that explosiveness in their legs, and that's what kind of the short interval sprinting gets. But also the turn in terms of your muscle building.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about those interval sprints with muscle building.
So yeah, you're right. From a pure physicality standpoint, athletic standpoint, it is better to do sprints like that because it helps develop muscle mass and those quick twitch muscles. Here's the thing though. I'm not running for that.
Yeah.
I'm running to do this, to build the mind. So yeah, distance running on your body is not good. It definitely beats up your body terribly. But that's not what it's for.
Yeah.
It's for this. So but in terms of a muscle standpoint, yeah, I've heard the same thing. It's quick sprints, sprint hard, builds up muscle mass. It makes you more effective and more explosive. But I'm not looking to be explosive. I'm fucking, yeah. I'm doing online businesses and I'm trying to just have abs. So I don't need quick twitch to close down Betsy on my Zoom call.
This is the quickest twitch I do all day right here.
Yeah. This is my quick twitch. Buy, sell, buy, sell. That's my quick twitch muscle. I'm on Zoom with Betsy and I gotta juke her out for social security number. Come on, Betsy. Bust up her ankles and take her checkbook. See you, Betsy. Fuck you. All right, Harry. Oh, are we pumping? I think we're pumping, Harry. No. But I think BTC's at 108, right? 108.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at
109.
109.
Oh, almost 110.
Yeah, I was looking at it before we jumped on. I saw we had a big red candle after we hit that high today, like a massive
Yep.
red candle, and then slowly climbing back up. But I was interested on your take on Ethereum because I know you looked at it earlier this week in the market professional call, and you were showing some ranges down on the downtrend for it, but with Bitcoin ripping as hard as it's been ripping, and some of the other indicators that I have on here, and this is also a point I wanted to make. The last time Bitcoin was this high, or the first time I guess I should say it got up this high back in December, early January, but mostly December range, Ethereum was at the 4,000 mark. So Bitcoin was at 108, 107. Ethereum was at 4,000. Now Bitcoin is back up 108, 109, but Ethereum's down 2,500. That's why I said I believe that Ethereum is still undervalued in terms of that comparison. But short range, I think, there's possibility it goes lower. But long range, it's definitely undervalued in my opinion. So curious on what your take is now that Bitcoin's back up that high of what you think Ethereum could do.
Yeah, it's a great question because I was just talking to one of the guys inside the Discord about this. So the catch-up trade that's going to take place on Ethereum is going to be monumental, right? If people thought what happened from August 5th nuke up through the beginning of December was sick, the run-up we had there, or the run-up we had from Q1 of 2024 up until March when Pepe did a fucking 10x from 300 mil up to 3 billion. If you thought that was sick, this is going to be sick. This is going to be sick. This is going to be sick. And we've been waiting for this shit for years. For Bobby, They're going to be sick after they see this run up. It's going to be nuts. It's happening as we speak.
Yeah,
Bitcoin's literally
it
breaking out
is.
right now. Bitcoin's at 109.7. Bitcoin's literally at all-time highs as we're speaking, and it's about to break out. So, um, what's going to happen on Ethereum, because its evaluation in comparison to Bitcoin is so much lower than what it was back in December, is there's going to be a huge catch-up trade. Because at one point, when Bitcoin was worth $100,000, like Bobby was just saying, Ethereum was worth 4,000. Bitcoin is now worth 100 grand again 4 months later. Ethereum's only worth 2,500. Okay. So when we say catch up trade, what we're saying is not just the USD valuation, the USD pair, but the Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin evaluation is going to pump higher, which is much more significant than just the USD pair going up. So, yeah, the price of Ethereum is going to go up, but the point is that the price of Ethereum, the appreciation that's going to take place on that asset is going to be much more aggressive than the appreciation you see on Bitcoin on this next leg up higher, because Ethereum has to catch up in
Mm-hmm.
value in comparison to Bitcoin. So you're going to have this extra pump that's going to take place just because they need to recalibrate the price of Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin, right? So it's called a catch up trade.
Okay.
So yeah, it's going to be sick because you're just going to see Ethereum pump so much harder than what you've seen it pump in the past, basically, is the point. It's just going to pump harder. Yeah, Bitcoin's at 100, just about to cross 110,000. Let's fucking go. Huge, Bobby. Huge. We're about to print.
Massive.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, you guys are running out of time. The altcoins, the opportunity in the altcoins is still there. There's
Yeah.
still reason to buy because they're still way off of the all-time highs. Bitcoin's the only one that's going to all-time highs right now. So you still have plenty of time to position into altcoins and capture huge upside, because it looks like we are getting the confirmed breakout from all-time highs. Yeah, we're at 109,000. Once we get above 110,000, that's pretty much confirmed. We're breaking out to like 120 pretty quickly. So we'll probably be at 120,000 Bitcoin by the end of this week. Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, by the end of
Crazy.
this weekend.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. I have this Pepe long open right now too, which should start printing too. It's just gonna be sick. If Bitcoin actually starts breaking out here and ETH starts moving, I have a 10x leverage Pepe long open that's gonna fucking rip.
So that's actually another question I was going to ask you because, obviously a long on Ethereum could be a great play as well, but I was curious what Belofin has in terms of the ETH betas on there. I haven't really looked. I know Pepe is on there. Is there any other ones that we
Just Brett.
keep in? Just Brett.
Yeah, so they do have Pepe and Brett. The reason I longed Pepe is because
Why
this is
not?
this is a degenerate play. Yeah. So if I know ETH is going to start running because I know Bitcoin breakout's about to happen, it's like, all right, let's get even a little bit more leverage.
Hmm.
Because a 10x leverage on ETH would be the equivalent of a Pepe is about 3x leverage ETH. I would say about 3x at the max. So it'd be as if, so I could open up a 10x leverage long on Pepe, would be similar to opening up a 30x leverage long on ETH. So the strategy behind levering up on Pepe instead of Ethereum is, if I did a 30x leverage on Ethereum, my liquidation price would be so much tighter on a
Mm,
30x long. But if I just go further down the risk curve, Pepe is already a little bit leveraged Ethereum. So I just do a smaller leverage on Pepe, but it's as if I'm doing a 30x on ETH. Capture the same upside with less risk to the downside. So
yeah.
that's the mentality behind logging Pepe.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, great information, especially inside of the Taylor's Code. So if you guys are not inside of the Taylor's Code, we talk about this stuff all day, every day. Priamo's in there grinding, posting 20 charts a day, what he's seeing. A lot of the guys in there are following. A lot of the guys are putting their own analysis in. So we're bouncing ideas, talking like this all day, every day. So make sure to get inside, join the community. You guys could trade with us all day, every day. With that being said, I think that Priamo is correct when he says, the Ethereum and the Pepe Beta play. But the beauty of the way we're going to trade these next 6 months of, new all-time highs, we're going to trade on the way up, but we're also going to trade on the way down. So we're not going to just be making money on the way up and then, waiting for things to fall to buy again. The way that we trade now, the way that our systems are in place, we're going to be long and we're going to be short, and we're going to be looking from all different angles to make money on this bull run.
Every which direction. And right now, though, is the most lucrative time to jump in because we're about to enter a massive bull run. Nobody's missed it yet. That's the thing. It's literally just starting. So you got to move now, though. Join the network, join the Discord, and get fucking positioned ASAP because the shit is about to start fucking sending. I just put a couple of charts in there, Bobby. This shit played out perfectly. In the Discord, I just posted a couple charts. You see that altcoin chart we've been tracking?
Tag that demand zone perfectly.
Yeah, perfect. And bouncing right off where we said it was going to bounce. It literally followed the line perfectly. Just draw down, retest that mid-range,
Boing.
bang. Starting to bounce now. Who could have fucking foreseen this, brother?
So, from where it's at now, so this chart is everything except the top 10, right? So
Correct.
So if everything goes to plan, to get back up to all-time highs is pretty much a 2x, almost a 2x, just a little bit under. So the valuation of every coin except for the top 10 has the potential to double in price
At least.
over the next 2 months.
Yep. At least double.
At
That's
least.
at the very least.
Yeah.
There's gonna be underperformers and there's gonna be overperformers. So the overperformers are gonna do 5 to 10x just to get back up to the highs. So like Andy and Wolf, from the prices that they're at right now, easily could rip another 2 to 3x just to get back to all-time highs. But and then this time I'm under the impression that this altcoin chart that I just sent into the Discord is going to go to new all-time highs.
I think so as well.
So everything's going to go to new all-time highs, which is going to be sick.
And the thing is, this is nothing new. The things we've been talking about last year, this time frame with Bitcoin going to all-time highs, and then the rotation into other coins, into altcoins, it's still the same. It's still true. So as Bitcoin keeps rising, the higher Bitcoin goes, obviously, the more money that's going to flow into the altcoins afterwards. So that's why we use Bitcoin as our main indicator for the market, because it's majority of the market. So as Bitcoin keeps going higher and higher and higher, it's great because we know that it's going to funnel